Some of us work in companies and we just play a particular role. Let's say you are a social media manager, or you are a back-end developer or project manager, and you're just so fixated on that your role. You don't even understand the business that you're in, the company at large. Now let's remember, we're still talking about promotion, how to be a promotable person. In this episode, we talk about understanding the business that you are in. So in this episode, we talk about what it means to actually understand the business that you are in. Because if you get this point, it will set you up as somebody that is due for promotion. In this particular point, think about things like, who are your clients? Who are the business's clients? What did they sell? What is the strategy they are using to sell the product or service, if it is a service or a product? I was watching a particular clip where someone said that senior level executives usually complain that mid-level employees do not have an idea of what the company is all about. They do not have an idea of the kind of organization, like the basic things that the organization they work in are into, and yet they are working there. And this is particularly true because even myself, there are some things in my company that I work in that I still don't know. But when I got to read about this point, when I made my researches, I begin to understand that it is high time I start asking the right questions. And what are the basic things that you need to know to understand the business that you are in? This is very interesting. The first one, the markets. When I talk about the market of the business that you're in, I don't just mean the top competitors, no. It's like a story. How has things changed over the past few years in your company? If it's a company that's been existing for a while now, how has things evolved? How has technology affected the company? What are the challenges that the business is encountering right now and even anticipating in the next 10 years? Now you need to make a cautious effort to know the answers to this question. And if you cannot find it based on research, maybe checking your company's website, you can as well ask people that are in other departments that have a better view. This is where relationship is very important. You can ask people in other departments to educate you on, to fill in the gaps basically, so you can understand the market that your business that you're working in, the company you're working in is into. Second thing you need to do to understand the business that you're in is the financials. Money. How does the company make money? How much? What is the cost of the customer turnover? What is the profit margin if it's like a full-time profit business? But if it's a non-profit business, what are the numbers looking like? Every area of the business, every department in that business impacts and is being impacted by the numbers. So understanding them is very, very crucial. If it's a public traded company, that is public company that is owned by shareholders, then the financials might be accessible to you online. But if it's, let's say, a private company, then you might not necessarily dig to see the numbers, but you could ask questions to know how the process is like, even if you don't get the specific numbers. Okay, so the main thing is you need to understand the financials of the company that you work in. The third thing you need to understand about the business that you're in, that you're seeking for promotion in, is the customer base. If you are not in a role where you're client facing, that is roles that deal with direct interaction with the customers themselves, it doesn't still exempt you from understanding the customer base. Basically, you need to ask the right questions. Ask questions like, what are the customers' goals? What are the challenges that our customers are having? How does our business, how does our company fit into the customer's world? So you might want to look at it from the customer's perspective if you're in a client-facing role where you actually ask the customers their pain points and you understand it from their own angle, and then as an employee you also understand it from this other angle, get it from this angle, and then you get it from the other angle. So that way it gives you a holistic view. The better you know your customers, what impact does your business have on the customers, or what impact does your business product have on the customers, the better you are in infusing this information you have just found out or you've had on you in conversations that matter. And it's not just enough in conversation, even in strategic thinking, in your decision making, it will just show that you have a better understanding. It will just show in your performance, because You come from a place of understanding, really. It will just show in your performance, and others will begin to look at you differently. Your fellow colleagues or your subordinates, your bosses begin to see you as someone that is proactive, that is into the long-term goal, that is into the big picture, that cares about the company, and therefore is promotable.